All right, well, hello science students. It's Mr. Welch here. This video is just meant to maybe give a little bit more information about what claim evidence reasoning is and why we use it to think and communicate like scientists. So I'm going to probably touch upon some of the things that you saw and hopefully you took notes on from that poster, but hopefully give a little bit more detail as well. So first things first. CER, claim evidence reasoning. Claim. Very simply, the claim is an answer to a scientific question. So now you might be asking, well, Mr. Welch, what's a scientific question? An example of a scientific question would be, why is the sky blue? Okay, right off the bat, you may or may not know the answer to that question. So what do we have to do? To answer that question, we need to collect evidence. Okay? The evidence that we can collect can either come through research, it can come through experiments, or it can come through simple observations that we can make with our senses. What do we see? What do we hear? What do we smell? What do we feel? Okay, so in this way, our evidence can be both qualitative and quantitative. But it's really important that we have a sufficient amount of evidence. What I mean by sufficient is that we have enough evidence to actually make a claim and to make a substantiated claim, a claim that actually is backed up. So typically, one or two pieces of evidence is not good enough. Our evidence also must be appropriate. And what I mean by appropriate is that that evidence should support the claim. You're not including stuff that's random and that has nothing to do with the scientific question at hand. Now, arguably the most important part of claim evidence reasoning is the reasoning. The reasoning ties your evidence to the claim. All right, so it ties the evidence to the claim. What I mean by that is you're taking each piece of evidence and you're saying how that evidence justifies why you're making that claim. Why is that answer correct based on the evidence that you have? Okay. Another really important part of reasoning is we always want to try and include scientific principles. So going back to this example of why is the sky blue, a scientific principle here would be the idea of refraction. Okay, the sun rays enter our Earth's atmosphere. That light is refracted. It's scattered by gas particles, by air molecules, by water droplets. That idea has been proven over and over and over again. It's a fact. So we always want to blend scientific principles into our reasoning as often as we can. All right, so again, the reasoning, and this is the biggest part of CER. This is where you get to explain how each piece of evidence supports the claim. Tie each piece of evidence back to the answer to that scientific question. So please watch the next video to get a little bit more information about the CER process and to actually see claim evidence reasoning in action to another scientific question. One other thing to note is that very often students want to immediately make a claim. So they see a question, they immediately want to make a claim. That's not how scientists operate. You must collect evidence before you make a claim. You must. We don't make claims out of the blue. Our claims always need to be backed by solid evidence. So keep that in mind as we work with CER more and more at the start of the school year and throughout the rest of the school year.